It is Monday, Veterans Day. I am on a late start. Well, I'm not a late start. At high school practice, I had meetings with our booster club, and now I'm going to tell you the rest of the story, how I know it, according to the development of women's soccer in this country. ECNL, I was at your event, and there you speak of development. You're not developing. So the makers of ECNL, I get you've done a good thing. You're fighting U.S. soccer to a point. I like that about you. But don't tell me you guys actually have your developing technique. You're not. You're definitely not developing a thought process of playing at all. I was there, Phoenix, Arizona, Reach 11. I was watching national team recruiters watching ECNL. I went to actually watch a friend play, and this is what I saw. Car wrecks. Like, when you're about to see a car wreck and you just kind of cringe of the violence that's about to happen, and you're like, oh my gosh, I made that cringe 50 times per half, because that's all it was. It was nothing but brutal violence. And I get, the UFC sells and all that. Well, ECNL, you're not a paid per view market. This is the game. This is what we develop. Everything I saw out there was exactly what I see in Division I soccer. A bunch of athletes that can run, that don't have a thought process, that can get stuck in tackles, tear their ACLs, and that's about it. That's what I'm seeing as a whole. I'm not saying everyone does that. I get we have good coaches out there and we have some good teams, but as a whole, that's not what's being developed. There's not the game being played a certain way. Why? Because it's about winning. That's what it's about. Who's winning? Why? Because there's pressure from these crazy parents from the sideline that care about winning so much, they don't care about their daughter's development or their ACLs. They don't. There needs to be a new system of play. Everyone wants to talk about what the score was and who scored and all that. That's the problem we have. We need to change the rules. There needs to be points given for connecting passes in the middle third, in the attacking third, your defensive third. There needs to be a value to it, so we change the game. That's the only way I know how that we can really fix things. But don't you dare tell me, when you have kids on ECNL taking a touch of the ball, and at times you'll see glimpses of greatness where they'll play the ball forward, it'll be laid off back and move to the side, and they'll string, say, 10 to 12 passes, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, look at that. It is scripted. There is no thought. It's playing up, back, wide, and they just happen to hit it to their player. But I don't think there's a thought in the world. They don't check over their shoulder. They don't actually know what the next pass is. They just play according to what they've been taught over and over and over in skeleton patterns. Skeleton patterns are just routines they do over and over. If you like this podcast, you can tune into my podcast 5 days a week. Monday through Friday, I'm available to you to entertain you about the wonderful world I live in with coaching soccer, just coaching in general. You can tune in. How I do this, it's free. Not only is it free, I get paid. So what are you waiting for? Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm today to get started. Over again. And at times they do it. But you're not developing players. The rules of soccer are very simple. And everyone should know this. Every time you have the ball, can you score? If you can't score, can you get the ball to the player that can score? And if you can't do that, can you possess and start over? And that's the thought process you need to have. And I don't see that going through their head at all. You don't. And if you say they have that, you're a liar. As a whole, that's not what's happening. All we're developing is systems of skeleton drills with the opposition of trying to take them out of their skeleton drill with mad violence. That is what's happening. You cannot tell me that there's a thought process. There isn't. They should take a touch, they should look up, and they should find the next pass according to thinking. Can you score? Can you get to someone that can score? Can you dribble out of pressure? There needs to be a process of learning. Some can play one-touch soccer, I get it, but not all 11 can on the field. There's no way that's possible because we don't develop players like that. Because if all 11 can actually play one-touch soccer because they understand where players are and they're really going through the process of thinking, they do exist, but not as a whole. No way. There's no way that's happening. You have to go through the baby steps. You have to take a touch. You have to look up. You have to identify what the situation is. And then as you do that over and over and over again with failure, you then add the other pieces to it. But the technique is bad. The athleticism is high. The technique is horrible. And the fact that we allow this to happen over and over again is crazy. So don't, you say you're ECNL. Oh, I'm ECNL. Who cares? As a whole, ECNL, you are garbage. So is DA, and so is everything else. We don't have a culture of playing the soccer the right way. We don't. We're not developing players. And if you're going to argue that point, you're crazy. As a whole, it doesn't work. Because those players I saw, the technique I saw, are the same ones playing at the next level. It's just a train wreck. And no one likes it. And you're ruining the game. You're ruining future generations. You know why? Because these same players that grow up in the game hate the game. Like if you, I develop technical players, and I'll talk to them, and they quit when they get to college, or they don't like it, because it's not a game anymore. It's about running and kicking people. That's not fun, ladies and gentlemen, Division I coaches. It's not fun to hear your anger and all that and sending these poor girls to destroy their ACLs. No one cares about that. You care about it. You feel good because you might get the result and you feel good about yourself and you get the win that day. But we need better coaches at the university level. You need to lead by example and play the game the right way. And I get you're under the threat of being fired. Get it. Win by playing the right way. I don't know. But we have a ton of problems. So this is my report of watching ECNL over the weekend at Reach 11. It's a train wreck, and that's my message today. Happy Veterans Day. Goodbye.